Our weather is about to become very complex, everyone. We have this big heat dome that's still going to be coming across. We still have this cool down that's coming after that. It's going to be well into next week. But we also have what's happening in the tropics. We have multiple tropical waves coming off the MDR, and we still have our CAG, our Central American Gyre, that's trying to come into play. So I'm going to go through all them topics here today in this video, but make sure you stick around for the special message I have at the end of the video. Remember, timestamps are in the description below every single day. And let's start off in the tropics. Now we have this new area of interest in the MDR. Matter of fact, this tropical wave didn't even come off of Africa yet. That's why you don't see no X in a line pointing to this area. It'll be sometime into this weekend, but it has a 30% chance in the next 7 days, and it will move west or west-northwest about 15 miles per hour. I'm showing that up to the next 7 days, this will make that westward path. But once it goes from that 7 to 10 day mark, it will start moving on that west-northwest and probably will go out through the Atlantic and be a fish storm. But at the same time, we have multiple waves. We have another wave that's sneaking over here towards the Bahamas, and we have a wave over here by the Central American Gyre that's trying to form up, but more than likely will go out through the west still. Now in the Pacific, we do still have that Invest 95E, and this will be the next named storm. We might even see 2 or 3 named storms coming in this region. Then the next one will be Mario, then we'll have Narda, and then maybe Octave as well. Also still showing that we have a lot of favorable environment around the Central American Gyre going into the Eastern Pacific, also with the MDR, the main development region. All this is going to be waking up very shortly. You can see the latest with the Euro chance for a tropical depression just for the next 6 days. That wave will more likely still go towards that westward path. But once we go past 6 days, this is where it more likely will take that north-northwest path and go around a high pressure that's over here by the Cabo Verde Islands. And you can also see over here for Central America that a next tropical wave more likely will push further towards the west. It is trying to come north. There is a quick moment where it tries to head north, but that trough of cooler air, of drier air that we have coming through with the shear is still prohibiting any kind of formation. I'm still showing that it is going deep into the tropics, way into the Caribbean, where nothing could form. But this will move further towards the east, where the tropical wave over here in the southern Gulf will try and come back across. But it is limited. So you can see in 6 to 7 days, that tropical wave will start making that west-northwest path right into the Atlantic, more than likely, everyone. While we have this sneaky tropical wave that's having a problem with dry air and some shear, trying to sneak across for the Bahamas, and you can see what happens around the Central American Gyre. It does head north as we go towards 7 days, but then it goes further towards that westward push afterwards, and still tries to get into the southern half of the Gulf. Now, one thing that's concerning is GFS is the only model that is still showing some kind of formation on the Central American Gyre and bringing something into the Gulf. It has the only model that's showing a lot of precipitation as well, everyone. Now, one thing you got to remember is this is a lot of deep ocean heat right here. So as these storms come towards the Central American Gyre, as it taps into that, the longer these storms stay right here, the stronger they will become. So it all depends on that trough coming through. How long is that trough going to stay there, presenting all this shear from anything forming? And how quickly will it move further towards the east and allow all this buildup to either go west or north? And the sea surface temperatures, of course, is not even in question. We definitely have all of that. Let me show you what these 3 waves are doing according to the ensembles. And I will go through the CAG, the gyre as well. But you can see right here, literally as you go 7 to 8 days, you have 3 groupings. You have a sneaky tropical wave that's having problems with dry air, and it will have problems with shear. This one I'm not believing so much, but this energy could get involved in the CAG as well. Then we have this other wave, more likely will head towards the north. Then this other wave right behind that, that's a little further southern, that might go a little further west, but probably will head north as well. And you can see this here. So first we have that sneaky wave trying to come through, and you see as it's coming through, showing more likely we'll head on that northward path. Now this probably will just bring more precipitation added to the precipitation that's getting stuck in this weather pattern. You can see what weather next generation probably be further north towards the Bahamas, and you can see with the Euro that it's just going to be something very sneaky, but it's not going to be able to do anything. It's going to run into so many problems because we have this trough coming through, bringing all this shear, plus we have the dry air with it, and we have all the dry air chasing behind it. I don't believe this will form into anything, but I think it will add to the tropical moisture. Now, the next wave coming through, the one that we have a 30% for, you can see right here with the experimental model, more likely will turn very sharply out into the Atlantic. There's a few ensembles that say it could lag a little bit further towards the west, but still will turn. And you can see with Weather Next Generation also agreeing on that northward turn, not even getting close to what Aaron was, maybe what Ferdinand was. And you can see with the Euro resolution showing that northward turn as well. Now, there is a couple that shows it could go a little further towards the west, but the trend is that this is going to turn very sharply because we have that Cabo Verde high pressure, and it's going to go around that high pressure into that direction. And the wave behind that one showing more likely will turn as well. We do have a strong grouping that shows it could go a little bit further. You can see here with the Next Generation could go further on that westward path. So that one we need to watch. Might come a little bit closer, might do like an Aaron. So that's the one I think we need to watch. Not the one we have a 30% for, the one that's coming right off after that. Remember, in the 20s is where the MDR has all the intensity. But you can also see the weather pattern. So not only do we have the trough coming through, that's bringing shears, bringing dry air. We also have the expanding high pressure over here, showing that next wave, not the one we have an outlook for, the one right behind it, the one I just showed you that could go further west. That's why, because we're going to start getting an expanding high pressure after that. So that could help that tropical wave go further. But you can see right here for the Central American gyre, now we get a big group of thunderstorms. Now this is according to the European. When you look according to the GFS, it takes everything even more robust, and GFS always does this, just like I showed you with the temperatures yesterday. Showing a lot more storms building up by the Central American gyre while you have that trough, while we have that sneaky tropical wave going towards the Bahamas, having problems with dry air, and it will run into shear as it goes towards the Bahamas. So this one I'm really not worried about. I still think it will add towards precipitation and moisture. But at the same time, you see a little bit different of a weather pattern. That expanding high pressure is not just up here, it is expanding further towards the west and south. And that would help pull things further towards the north. Now, the Euro does not see that. That's only by GFS, and the only model out of all the deterministic models is only the GFS seeing this, everybody. And you've seen what it did with Invest 91L last time. But still, we have seen one model many times be correct out of all these models, so we will go through the possibilities real quick. You see literally in 6 days with the GFS, this is 0Z run, this is your balloon data run. Usually the balloon data is more accurate. The 0Z and the 12Z are more accurate runs. But you can see how you get that low pressure building up over here right by Belize, by the Yucatan, showing that it can strengthen up rather quickly. A lot of warm waters, and it gets a little moisture pocket. But at the same time, it goes west over landfall and going across the Yucatan to get into the southern half of the Gulf, the Bay of Campeche, and then pushing maybe towards the northwest right afterwards, after that trough leaves. And you can see that outlook for that wave more than likely will go out through the north into the Atlantic. But then you go by the latest update, the 6Z. You can see how it shows a little bit different of a pattern. It still builds up over here by the Belize, but it is starting to strengthen up right there. And then it finally gets that strength and gets pulled out through the east-northeast. So it's seeing all kind of possibilities with this tropical wave where it could go right afterwards. So we need to see how long this precipitation builds over the Central American gyre for this to even happen. I'm not showing a possibility. I'm still showing the chances of this happening is about 10%. And you can see that outlook that we have 30% for might go a little further towards the west, but still going to curve according to the latest outlooks. When we go by the ensembles, you can see for the next 7 days, according to the GFS, that maybe 2 or 3 of these ensembles is showing something could happen with that tropical wave into the Gulf, and maybe a 4th one going towards the Bay of Campeche. Now, still, this is out of 30 ensembles, everyone, so this is literally around a 10% chance for that to even form. Not even possible from what I can see. But still, let's give it all the respect as we would any other tropical wave, and let's investigate it ourselves. You can see here in 6 days, that trough bringing that dry air. You have dry air moving behind it, but not a lot, according to the GFS, while you have all this tropical moisture building up in the Western Caribbean. Now, when you go according to the Euro, you have that big moisture pocket, but you also have that trough coming through, bringing all that drier air, and you have all that drier air moving behind it. You can even see with the Canadian that is trending that there's going to be a lot of dry air in there, and that moisture pocket is not going to be very big. So GFS sees all these storms building up while you get that sneaky wave going towards the Bahamas, and all that together comes together to a problem potentially. I'm still not believing it, but we will watch it just in case, because like I said many times, we've seen many times that single models has been correct amongst the group. So we will follow it. Euro shows that it cannot take it. It gets ripped apart by that trough, and the shear pulls the tropical moisture away, and it has nothing left to build on as that goes further towards the west. It tries again in the southern Gulf, but it does not make it. So we will watch it. I'm showing two different areas. It tries to form over here in the Western Caribbean. As it goes further towards the west, it tries to form in the Bay of Campeche. European still does not see anything forming out of that. No low pressure whatsoever, just going out through the East Pacific while we watch for that next wave coming across the west. Not even in the ensembles, everyone. Look at the ensembles. And the other 25 is just like this. There's nothing forming by the Central American gyre according to the Euro. We need to watch for that wave that's pushing towards the west afterwards. Maybe something in the Bay of Campeche, but this is already going 2 weeks out, everybody. The further west it goes and the further down the road it is, more likely will be further towards the west. But we still need to watch it. When you look with the Canadian ensembles, that little chance in the southern half of the Gulf that the Euro sees as well, very small chance, maybe a 5%. The Canadian really sees that. It's not really going to be 6 days. It's going to be more like 7 days where that could form into the Bay, and we could get something going into the Gulf. It's seeing that as a chance maybe of a 15 up to a 20% chance for it to form into the southern Gulf, not in the Western Caribbean. So don't worry about it, everyone. I am on top of it. I will keep you updated on what's going on with the tropics. I check every angle that is possible. Now, we do have severe weather for today and for tomorrow. Chances for damage and winds and hail. While we get that big trough coming through for the west, we have that trough coming through for the east. And we just have your typical omega block pattern. You can see this here. Big omega block pattern, just your typical pattern coming through. This has not changed. This is still the same. While you still get that dome of heat building for the central U.S., you get these storms that come across for the western U.S. for today, also for tomorrow. So for today, you can see an isolated thunderstorm in any of this green area. No chances for tornadoes. This will be for wind and hail. So here's your cities and states at risk for damage and winds for today. And here's your cities and states at risk for a hail threat for today. Showing that as we go into this afternoon, this is where you get some storms really building up for the western U.S. So you will see some thunderstorms in this region, even bringing chances for damage and winds as you go through the evening. And showing that as you go through the evening, you could get a stronger line of storms that's congealing together for North Dakota overnight going towards northern Minnesota. That could bring some damage and winds with that. You need to watch out for that. And you can see for tomorrow, it comes right back again, bringing you these thunderstorms. Not to mention southern Florida. Southern Florida has been getting storms for days, and you still have a couple more days of storms coming for you still. But showing that damage and winds will come with this weather pattern for today and for tomorrow. Showing that you won't get anything strong really for the west. It'll be more like portions of Arizona, but New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, the western Dakotas, and western Nebraska. A big area here where you can get 40 and 50 miles per hour wind gusts. You got 50 in the orange, you even get 60 in the red right there for Montana, even a little bit of 7. And you can see also with the hail. It's not a huge threat, but there is chances to get hail in this area as well, with larger hail over here for southeastern Montana. So for tomorrow, for Friday, you can see an isolated thunderstorm in any of this green area. No chances for tornadoes. Once again, this will be for wind and hail. So here's your cities and states at risk for chances for damage and winds for tomorrow, for Friday. Also with your hail threat for tomorrow. Here's your cities and states at risk. But this weather pattern is bringing some beneficial rain. As we go for the next 5 days, you can see the rainfall that is coming. We're getting a good bit of rainfall for Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, from Wyoming, eastern Arizona, New Mexico, western Texas, also Colorado, Wyoming, Dakotas, and Nebraska. Now this region right here really needs some rainfall. Plus she's getting over here for Florida and the Bahamas still, and this will help with your drought. While you get a little bit over here towards New England. Now, I'm not going to go through the temperatures today. We've been going through it every day for almost a week. We still have this big warm up that's still pushing through all the way through this weekend, while you have that trough of cooler air on that front for the East Coast. That is going to transition across. And I'm still showing as we go into next week, this is where we're going to start getting that cooler air coming through again for next weekend and after that. So I will keep you updated, because you can see the latest information showing on Arctic oscillation. That cool front is coming down, and it's not going to just disappear. It's going to linger for a little bit after that as well. This lingering right here, this will be for the northern side of the U.S., but this big dip right here should go down towards the Tennessee, Kentucky Valley. Now, real quick, before I go, I wanted to talk about something here on this platform that we have, everyone, because what I've seen yesterday was just so disturbing. It's affecting me today still and my family. It's just really hard what happened yesterday with Charlie Kirk. So please be polite. Be respectful. Do not put any bad comments down below. If you are one of those, please just unsubscribe to my channel, because all he did was do free speech. Might not agree with the topics that he talked about all the time, but there's no reason to get rid of the man. He had a beautiful family, and this was just unbelievable. Now, I'm not going to make this political. I'm not going to even make this religious, because he was a believer of Jesus Christ as well. But what did happen was very disturbing. And I did repost on X, on Twitter, some things I did find yesterday. And I don't know how much is going to get investigated, but I've been seeing a lot of things that was retweeted yesterday from certain organizations. I'm not going to say which ones. You got to go see for yourself, that they already knew something bad was about to happen. So it's all just a bad scenario in general. So God bless Charlie Kirk's family and the pain you're going through. I'd like to give a moment of silence, please. Amen. Now, before I go, a quick word from our Father, everyone. I actually have two passages I'd like to read to you today. The first one is John 3:16 through 19. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Amen. And the other passage I'd like to read is to help those out there that's dealing with anger and a lot of hatred right now, because what has happened. There's a lot of people making all these little quick short videos and memes about how they're so happy about what happened to Charlie Kirk, and it's a disgrace, everyone. But remember, do not do anything evil towards any man, everybody. These are all misled as well. They all need help as well. But remember what Jesus says. Romans 12:19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Amen. I hope you have a very great day today, everyone. And remember, above all things, all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope he keeps you safe every single day of your life and forever. Amen.